When I married David 3 years ago, I knew I was gaining a husband and stepping into the quiet, shadowed world of his teenage son, Ethan. He was just 16, polite but distant, with eyes that carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. There was a sadness in him I couldn't ignore, even when he pretended everything was fine. Ethan had lost his mother when he was just 10. David rarely spoke about it, but the grief lived between them like a ghost in the house. David eventually found love again with me. But Ethan? He was stuck, drifting in a silent storm he never invited anyone into. At first, I gave him space, thinking it was just part of being a teenager. But the signs became impossible to ignore. He barely joined us for dinner. He hid in his room with only the pale light of his laptop cutting through the darkness. He wore long sleeves in the middle of summer. I told myself it was nothing. I wanted to believe it was nothing. Then one morning, I found a faint reddish smear on the bathroom sink. My heart dropped. I wanted to believe it was rust. Or food. Anything else. But in my gut, I knew better. I didn't tell David, not yet. I needed to be sure. I started observing Ethan more closely. The hollow look in his eyes, the flinches when someone touched him unexpectedly, the way he zoned out of conversations like he wasn't even there. My instincts screamed at me. He was hurting more than any of us knew. So, I started small. A note on his door saying, "Have a great day." Cooking his favorite meals, even if I wasn't sure he still liked them. Gently encouraging David to reconnect. It wasn't much, but sometimes the smallest gestures plant the deepest roots. Then one night, everything changed. I passed his room and heard it. Quiet, muffled sobs. I stopped. Listened. Knocked. "Ethan, can I come in?" No answer. I opened the door slowly. He was curled up on the bed, hoodie over his head, shoulders shaking. I sat beside him, heart pounding. "I'm here," I whispered. "You're not alone." He didn't move at first. Then I heard it, his voice, so quiet, so broken. "It just hurts, all the time." Tears burned in my eyes. "You don't have to go through this by yourself, Ethan. I see you. I've been so worried about you. And I'm not going anywhere." That night, something began to shift. He didn't open up completely, but he let me stay. I sat with him until he fell asleep. In the days that followed, he started to come out of his shell bit by bit. David and I talked about getting help. He blamed himself for everything, thinking he'd failed as a father. But I told him the truth. Getting Ethan help wasn't failure. It was love. Eventually, we found a therapist who specialized in teen trauma. It wasn't easy getting Ethan to go. But he did. Slowly, he began to talk. To heal. We made small goals, joining us for dinner once a week, a short walk, a movie together. There were setbacks. Some nights, I still heard him crying. But this time, he knew he wasn't alone anymore. Then one day, he handed me an envelope. "I wrote this for school," he said shyly. "It's about someone who helped me. It's about you." That night, I read his words under the soft light of our bedroom lamp. He wrote about the pain, the silence, the feeling of drowning. And then about how someone, me, noticed. How the notes, the meals, the gentle knocks, told him he mattered. That someone cared. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever read. Ethan is doing better now. Not perfect, but healing. He has a part-time job. He joined a club. He even brought a friend over last weekend. There's laughter in the house again. And every now and then, I catch David looking at Ethan with quiet wonder. I never wanted to replace Ethan's mother. I couldn't. But I could love him. I could be there. And sometimes that's all someone needs to start healing. If I've learned anything through this journey, it's this. Silence can be a cry for help. And the smallest act of love can change a life.